Hello, my name's Leslie Holvershorn. I'm a child and adolescent psychiatrist at the Indiana University School of Medicine in Indianapolis, and I'm incredibly grateful that I was selected to be part of a K12 cohort when I graduated from my child psychiatry fellowship. I think if I would have had to get a K through a normal mechanism, I'd like to think I would have gotten it, but it would have been a lot more arduous, and I was able to just get started more quickly and I think more importantly just receive a lot of the cohort-based mentorship that comes along with the K12 that doesn't come with a normal K. And it was enormously valuable to have kind of the pressure from the K12 committee, making sure I was presenting and publishing. And ultimately that allowed me to create the pilot data I needed for an R01 following that K. So it really launched my career, and I'm incredibly grateful for the opportunity and for all of the friends and colleagues that I made throughout the process. So thank you so much, AACAP, for putting together the K12. It meant a lot.
The K12 program truly has had a major impact on my career so far. I was fairly late to research getting serious about it as a fellow, and the K12 program has just given me access to so many resources, mentorship at my institution and the national level, a cohort of lovely K12 scholars. I've taken online coursework in substance use and statistics. And also very important, I've been able to protect a lot of time to develop my project and really learn the nuances of carrying out a research project.
Why should you do the NIDA AACAP K12, especially if you don't have experience with substance use research or with doing a clinical fellowship related to substance use? That's kind of where I was at a few years ago. So I think Ks are about learning something new. And, you know, when you write your case for NIH or NIMH, maybe specifically, you're trying to make an argument like, I know enough about this, but I'm going to learn that, which is kind of the super duper alley-ooper version of this, right? So you're making this argument, and whether or not someone really believes you that you need that extra training is kind of another story, or that your project's too ambitious or whatever, right? But at the end of the day, if you enter a field that's different for you, even in like a certain aspect of it, it really does force you to think about problems very differently and to bring a fresh perspective, because you have something special to add that people who are already in the field didn't have the experience you had. So that's a really great opportunity and can feel really exciting, invigorating, and sometimes harrowing because it's tough, right? But I would say overall, it's very, very much worth it. The other reason I think why I've really thought about doing the NIDA AACAP K12 is from a content perspective. When I think about early adversity in moms and how it impacts the way they process their infant's cues and interact with their infant, when you add substance use into this equation, it completely makes sense to study both adversity and substance use, especially since substance use is so much more common in populations with adversity, using to cope, things like that. And when you think about it, it's really critical for us to understand everything that's going on with families. And if we're not measuring some of those things, which I would argue substance use happens, whether or not you measure it, then you're missing something really important from the picture. And so those are the reasons why I thought about the K12. I would say the reasons that kept me here and made me really enjoy the program most of all is that we all live lives of quiet desperation out in academic environments, isolated often from other psychiatrists. Sometimes you're hanging out with mostly PhDs who may not completely understand where you're coming from as a clinician. And then having role models that will have a similar path to you, seeing someone who's a clinician investigator, who's a really strong investigator, and seems like they would be someone who you'd refer, someone you care about too. I think that's really important to have those role models. So I think the whole advisory council piece and the kind of special sauce of bringing together this group of experts to help us to learn and grow, I think is excellent. And then I think one of the most important reasons to do it is that you have a cohort and you have people to bounce ideas off of, develop collaborations with, think about how other institutions handle certain things. And this is really invaluable and also makes attending meetings even more meaningful. So I feel like my colleagues in this program have all taught me something, and they all have fascinating and awesome experiences. And I hope that we'll be colleagues for a long time. So I really do think it makes sense to consider this, because if you're doing a freestanding K, not really a freestanding, but you know what I mean, a K23, you don't have either of these things going on.